Alright, so in the last video I have reviewed the Baseus H1i and it was pretty quite a mixed bag. So hopefully the H1 Pro will be a significantly upgrade because this thing is a bit more expensive than the H1i and it's already on almost the same level as my edifier 820N. So let's open it up. So this is the box right here. As you can see, it says here is Baseus H1 Pro, and on top here it has the LHDC, which is the same as the H1i. Also has the high res audio wireless. It here, instead of the claim of the 100 hours of battery, it says here it just has some dual drive, so hopefully it will be sound a bit more better. And on the side it says the same thing, which is the advanced wireless 5.3, 80 hours of battery life. It has this dual channel low latency, the Baseus immersive spatial acoustics. So I believe it's going to be about the same for the software experience, and of course the social media right here, and you can here to download the app. Okay, so now the plastic is off. We can now see the opening is, instead of the standard open with the adhesive, this one just slide it down. Alright, so over here you can see this is the white version that I bought, and it also comes with a black version, which will be the same color as the H1i, which I have right here right now. First of all, the first impression when I take it out, it feels a bit more better, I guess. But we put this aside first. And inside here it has the sticker and the quick start guide, and in terms of presentation wise, the box here feels a bit more premium compared to the H1i, where it feels it's just a mass produced thing where they just put inside plastic and just dump it in here and just pray for the best. And inside here it has the cable, the Type-C cable. I'm pretty sure it's just quite standard with a Baseus logo right here, if you can see. Yeah, so there's nothing else. It's pretty much just the sticker, instruction manual, and the Type-C cable. Pretty much the same experience in terms of accessories with the H1, but the only difference is it presented way more cleaner compared to the H1i, which is very generic, and it seems like the box is just a afterthought. So let's take out this. Alright, so my first impression of looking at this immediately, just by holding it, I can feel it is a bit more nicer compared to the H1i, because it's mainly due to the fact that the cushion here is way more significantly thicker compared to the H1i. This is the H1 Pro with the H1i on the side by side. First initially when I saw in the pictures, the front here, it looks exactly the same, which the plastic build, you can see that it is quite a big upgrade lah. Because first of all, you can see the top here, from just a flimsy plastic, it has a full metal build right here, and the side here with the plastic, it looks way more cleaner compared to the H1i. As you can see here, there's a line of metal, which means that when it adjusts, you can see how much it can pull up and pull down. From side by side view, it almost looks the same from the top view, but from the side view you can see that thickness of the housing is more noticeable, because over here the housing is until here, while here you can see there's an extra grill here, which I'm not sure what it does, but it looks more like an aesthetic design to me. I feel like they have something else here compared to the H1i. Hopefully the sound will be way better. And in the first time I hold this thing, I can feel the cushion difference. Is the thickness is like almost significant. If you can see, if I put a side-by-side comparison, it's very obvious that the cushion here is like almost ×2, which is almost on par with some of the other headphone that I have, which is it's almost the same feeling as the Ugreen Max 5C compared to the H1i, where I can see that they skimp out on the cushion, and hopefully that it translates to more comfort when using it. And it's not just the thickness, but also the surrounding cupping of the ears itself, because even if you see, if I put side by side right here, the thickness of the cushion here is more obvious, and if I put side by side, I can actually see like almost like a one finger more cushion compared to the H1 Pro and the H1i. That is another thing that I noticed. And in terms of the button layout, it is a bit different, because the H1i, the button here is the slider where you on and off using the ANC. This time here it changed back to the original the standard button ANC, where you just click. And for the power button and the volume button, I feel like they skimp out a bit to make it more sleek, so it doesn't feel as obvious compared to the H1i. I don't know whether it's for the better or for the worse, because it is almost like blends with the housing compared to the H1i, where it's very obvious. So we have to see the difference. And other than that, that's all. Oh, and another thing I noticed that they removed the headphone jack from the H1 Pro, because here there's a headphone jack here, while in the H1 Pro there's nothing other than the Type-C cable. So I believe that this is going to have the C to C connection, where you can connect this C to your headphone to play wired connection. So it also will double down as a rechargeable. So let's see what Nash have to say about this headphone in the next part of the video. It has been almost a day and I have tried this headphone, the H1 Pro. I would say it's a massive improvement compared to the H1i. That because first of all you can see that the material wise, this feels way more premium, and the clamp for this headphone is actually quite solid. But unfortunately, the adjustment here is not the best, because the maximum size is still technically a bit short for me, so it doesn't comfortably land on my ear all the way down here, but it's slightly above, so it can be a little annoying. But after using like near entire day, the metal clamp and the metal sheet here, it will start to lose bit by bit, to the point that it's actually a bit more comfortable than the initial phase, where the clamp is really like pressing onto my ear. And yeah, the cushion wise is actually not too bad, because it really, you can see the like the memory foam, it goes up very slowly compared to this thing. You see, it has no memory, like there's no foam to like immediately to stays on your ear shape, so it makes it a bit more uncomfortable using the H1i. And in terms of on your neck, it's almost the feeling is exactly when I use the Ugreen Max 5C, where the thickness here is actually resting on my neck, so it can be a little uncomfortable, but it's still usable. And then the funny part is, if you are in a cold environment like in a shopping mall or in a aircon place basically. The metal piece here at the top of the earband actually it will touch my neck and it actually feel a bit cold. It's like you can, if you pull up your neck like a bit, it will be like a bit chilly. So I don't know if you don't mind the top part going to be a bit cold, and it's alright, it's cool. It's very comfortable, and I would say that actually the LHDC in this thing kind of work compared to the H1i, because the H1i, when I turn it on, turn it off, it makes almost no difference. While this one, I can hear slight different, like very minor different, but you can hear that it actually increased the quality of the sound. So I would say, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this way more than using this, because this doesn't feel premium, and also it's very uncomfortable to use because of the thinness of the headphone. And the sound quality, I would say, is more towards the treble side than the bass side. So the sound of the boom 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 is not as good compared to the H1i, because the H1i is more thumpy, but in terms of sound quality wise, this takes the cake. So vocals, the background music or background vocals, it will be more clearer. I would say it's more like the in between, the middle ground between the ugreen Max 5C and the W820NB, because W820NB is like more on the treble side, so the sound quality is nice, but it is completely flat because it doesn't have the bass, while the ugreen Max 5C has the bass on default. It is actually more pronounced compared to the H1 Pro. If you prefer the song to be more thumpy, like you really like the in your songs, you have to get the Max 5C. And take note that this thing is like almost $20 different, where the H1 Pro is slightly more expensive than the Max 5C. So if you really like your bass music, like EDM, like your rock music or whatever, maybe you should consider the Max 5C compared to the H1 Pro. I have tried the app for the H1 Pro and the H1i. The H1i app is slightly, the layout is almost the same, but it's the fact that this thing has you can choose what's the button going to do, where like one touch is going to play and pause your music, double tap to turn on the spatial sound, and triple tap for the low latency mode. But from what I see in the app for H1 Pro, it doesn't have any option at all. The ANC button is fixed with the normal mode, the ambience mode, and also the noise cancelling mode. And it's almost as annoying as using the edifier 820NB, because when you turn it on, it will automatically turn on the noise cancelling mode, and usually I will just press the button. As what I said earlier during the unboxing, I can feel the button is not very good. It's not very responsive, because it's almost very flush to the body, that when you try to press and hold, sometimes it feels like it's not responding. And it doesn't help the fact that when you turn it on and off, all you can hear is beeps. So you don't know whether is it turning on, is it connecting, is it turning off. Then even when you play and pause your music, also it has the same beep. So it's very hard to distinguish, which is also the same issue with the H1i. So if only this thing has like just a simple, even the generic the Chinese sound, which is the play mode on, or music mode, or connected, or whatever, like it just have something, or at least has a different beep or something, like at least something that is quite distinguished enough for me to understand. what the beep means, like what edifier do, which is when you turn it off, you can hear the beep. Then you know, oh, okay, it's turning off, or like turning on. That is turning on, you know. While this thing is like beep, beep, beep. Like, okay, so is it connected? Is it turning on? Is it turning off? Because sometimes I will try to connect the device on different phones. So sometimes if it's connected, I don't know whether is it connected to my current phone or the second phone I connected, or is it to my laptop. So that will be quite annoying because I will not know, and it doesn't help the fact that it doesn't have any LED. That's one thing I noticed, because when I turn it on, without here, if I don't put my headphone on and I just press and hold to look at it, there's no way in hell I would know whether this thing is on, whether this thing is off. So I believe is when I charging it, I will also not see it. But in terms of the folding wise, I would say it's way more easier to do it this way compared to the H1i, because the H1i is like is in between the band, you know. Like you can see, like the thing, instead of like the H1 Pro where it's all the way to the edge of the headphone, this thing is like halfway here, it just cuts, and then when you try to turn, it feels like I can break it anytime. Even though yeah, it's very strong, the thing, but I have to press this to bend it open. Compared to this H1 Pro where I can just press this down easily, and it's like that. And it's it's quite good. The thing is strong enough, unless you shake it violently. Yeah, it's like violently it will open. I could just literally hold the cup itself and just bend it, and just like that, and then I just put it in my bag or whatever, and just call it a day. So I don't know. It depends whether you like it this way or you prefer this kind of design. Because other than that, right, the sound quality, I would say this is possibly a better upgrade. So I would safely say that the extra $10 to $20 is more worth it to buy this than this, because if you really want comfort on when you're wearing it, especially people like me who wear spectacles, that extra cushion could help a lot. And especially when I try on my bed, when I say earlier in the previous video on H1i, when you lie on the bed, this headphone doesn't clamp as well, and it will tend to slide down a lot more compared to the H1 Pro. When you clamp, it really just stays there. So even when you lie down or you to the side or whatever, it will just literally just stay in your ears. It's just, unfortunately, the extension here is a bit, for some reason it feels like it's not enough lah. Maybe just a few cm more lah, few more cm, then maybe then it will be perfect for my ear, because my head, as I said, my head is massive. Or maybe I just need to get to used to the headphone for maybe a week or so that the band here will loosen a bit, and maybe my head will rest more on the cushion. Yeah, and for the sound also, right, I would say it is very loud. I'm surprised that this headphone is super loud. Like, usually if I use the H1i or the W820MB, I will crank it to the maximum, and somehow I'm not very satisfied with it, and I will try to force it, make it even louder, but you can't, because it's already at max sound level. So sometimes you just got to, like, you know what, screw it lah, just listen with whatever volume there is lah. But for this guy, the moment I put at maximum, I'm like, damn, it's too loud. Then I have to reduce the volume by at least 2 to 3 clicks compared to the Max 5C, which is slightly softer than the H1 Pro. So I would go up to maximum, and sometimes I will just click by 1. This one I will have to click by 2 or 3. So that is how loud it can be. It's super loud and it's awesome. Because of the loudness, you can get more clarity of the music that you are listening to compared to the other two, which is H1i and also the W820. So overall, this headphone experience is actually quite awesome. It's just the small annoyance is probably that the noise cancelling mode is always on. During the time that I've been using for that one full day, I have encountered one weird experience, because when I was like watching YouTube, is suddenly my right side of my headphone come out like have some static problem or something. I have no idea why. It's like as if like the sound is bugging out, and then suddenly the sound will just turn off, and then you left with one side. So initially I thought it was the YouTube video that I watched that has like problem with the syncing of the audio. But when I actually checked on playing music, I just realized that, oh shit, there's actually something wrong with my headphone. I don't know what happened. When I try to turn off and then turn on and then try to play again at the same volume, it's somehow fixed on its own. So I'm like, okay, cool. Fortunately, it's still working. Like I say, like the button here is very hard to use lah, because it's flush in and it's not very satisfying at the click. Like it feels like the type that you can get jammed very quickly, like within a year or maybe a few months. Who knows? Overall, it's actually quite decent headphone, and if this headphone I would 100% recommend compared to the H1i. Now I can actually see why this H1 Pro is more expensive. But if you really need the extra 20 hours of listening time, because this thing only can play up to 80 hours, this thing can play up to 100 hours. So yeah, if you're really lazy to charge and you go for a very long journey, maybe this headphone is good for a single charge, because the sound quality is slightly downgrade sound compared to the H1 Pro. But I would say if you are not really a audiophile, or you don't even have any music that can boost the sound quality up by using the FLAC, and you just listen to MP3, so the H1i can get past. But I would say other than that, you should just get the H1 Pro, because the sound quality is actually quite good. It's quite clear. It's quite loud. That's the most important thing. It is loud. That I don't really need the noise cancelling, because I barely can hear anything in my surrounding with the loudness of the headphone. And maybe in the next video I will do a comparison between the H1 Pro, the H1 Pro, the H1i, and of course the Max 5C, and possibly with the 820NB. Or maybe I could just compare with just the H1i and the Pro. So we will see, and it depends on you guys. If you just want to have a direct comparison between the H1i and the H1 Pro, sure, why not? Or else I might just want to do this 5-way headphone test to test 10 different random songs that inside my playlist and see which one I prefer more. And that's all from me. And if you like this, do leave a like, and also subscribe if you wish to hear more of my beautiful voice. And maybe, who knows, if I found a headphone that I found interesting in the market, I would just start to review. So that's all for me. I catch you all next time. See ya.